You know, I have absolutely no idea where Benny Parsons is right now. I did see him earlier today. He was down carrying a trophy.
I have been looking all over for you. You won the championship last week. No trophy.
No trophy, but lots of money.
Lots of money. Did you spend it?
Yeah, I spent it all.
Well, I found this trophy going around on a turnstile in an airport with all the weather we had last week. I want you to have it. I want to get rid of this thing.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks a lot.
Greg Biffle, the winner of the Winston Challenge, he finally gets the trophy.
Hey, Benny, we've got 26 cars lined up to start today's race. How tough was it to make this field? Well, Greg Biffle, the man that just got that trophy, failed to qualify, but we do have a well-woven pack. Ron Hornaday, the former series champ and super truck driver, is here. Lance Hooper, defending series champ, is here. Ron Eaton, the three-time Northwest Series champ, won the pole, but they inverted the top 8, so he starts deep in the field. Fans, we've had a great time in Tucson. Some great racing, met some fantastic people, but today it's a different atmosphere. We've talked about pride and prize money and exposure, but now the emphasis is on points. This series is about to begin a 19-race tour that takes them to 5 states. The long road to the championship begins here at Tucson Raceway Park on ESPN2. And race fans, it begins now.
Well, Benny, Bill used the term well-woven to describe this field. I think that's a bit of an understatement. You have any idea who's going to win this thing today?
None whatsoever, Bob. When we were here in December, folks, it looked like that Ron Hornaday was an odds-on favorite, but today he's in 18th spot. Who's going to win? I mean, it's anyone's guess.
And once again, they have come from all over, not only the West, but a few from the Midwest and even back east have come here for this event, at least to try to get in. 36 drivers from California, 4 from Washington, 3 from Colorado, but there was a representative from Indiana here, and we had 2 drivers from North Carolina, a total of 56 entries. And the bad news is that some of those guys didn't even get a chance to run in the B main to get into this event after they failed to qualify. They simply had to load up on the truck and go home. So, BP, let's take a look at who we have in the starting lineup here today.
As you just saw, folks, 56 cars, only 28 qualifiers. There's the top 15. Now, the fastest qualifier was the 8th place starter, Ron Eaton. But he flipped a coin. It was either 6 or 8. They inverted the first 8 cars. So Kevin Harvick will start on the pole alongside John Walsh.
Down there in 13th starting position, Jim Englebright. He's still the track record holder here. They did not break the track record in qualifying. By the way, the asterisks there beside the name indicate that he is a rookie contender. There's the top 15. Now the rest of the starting lineup. MK Kanky starts in 16th position. Ron Hornaday, there he is, Benny, back in 18th. He's got a long way to go to the front.
But he was running good in practice, so he can do it. And if he does, folks, it will be exciting, no doubt about it.
The field begins to move away, and we have a couple of in-car cameras working for you here today. Chris Trickle in number 70, he had a good qualifying performance and will once again be up front for the start of this race. Chris, of course, was the winner of our race last week, the Winston Challenge finale. And also, we have an in-car camera with flying Brian Germoni.
I didn't think you was going to put the flying part in there.
I remembered it.
Cofer tape and reel. That's something to do with the computer industry. I asked Mr. Cofer what he did, and he started telling me all this stuff I did not understand.
You said, wait a minute, you don't need to go any further. I don't understand a word you're saying, right?
Exactly. I said, does it have to do with computers? He said, yes. Good enough.
Brian Germoni getting set to start. We have less than 2 laps to go, and we'll get the green flag. Once again, the format is the same, 75 laps of racing, then about a 10-minute break for the cars to go back into the garage or the pit area, actually, and have any kind of work done that the crews want to do, and then they come back for 75 more laps.
You know, and Bill Weber talked about this is the first race of the season. See all the cars weaving back and forth, getting the debris off their tires? I don't think they did that in that December race, did they? I mean, they are racing for real today.
Yeah, the race that we had here in December 10th, was not a points-paying race. It was Featherlite Southwest Tour sanctioned event, but it was not a points-paying race. This event begins the 1996 season for this tour. Bill?
And guys, there are some guys in this field who are only running limited events, so they're here to race to win today. For example, Ron Eaton is really retired. He won 3 Northwest championships, but he comes down here in the winter and he brings his golf clubs. He told me about 20 minutes ago he plays golf every day and just gets ready for this race. He's going to race here, he's going to race Phoenix, then he's going back up home. So some of these guys are here simply for the win, while the majority of them need valuable points toward that championship today.
I wonder if Ron Eaton needs any help.
Carrying his golf clubs?
Carrying his golf clubs around or something. Those 2 cars, the 81 and 65, won the B main or the last chance special to get in the race. Roger A. Vance and the 65 car of Dennis Woolridge finished first and second.
Pace car pulls off. We're set to go for the next to last winter heat from Tucson Raceway Park. The Featherlite Southwest Tour race is underway.
Oh, always did get started and the caddy crashed back in the middle of the pack.
My goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 cars are involved. Some of them are badly damaged, and the front stretch is nearly blocked. Well,
and the 61 car, the white car, is sitting on top of the red and black car. There we see M.K. Kanke. There we see, man.
That's Michael Alsop in number 61. The 34 is Doug McCown. And let's see what happened. It started about back on row, what, 8 or 9?
Well, Chris Rodman looked like he didn't want to, he's got underneath that car, and then he did not want to jump the start because NASCAR would disqualify him. When he backed up, it looked like, was that Lance Hooper that got in the side of it? I'm not really sure, but.
Yes, it was, Benny. He has bad damage here on the left front of the car down here by the starting line. Here it is once again from a different angle. Several cars hard into the wall, others colliding with other cars, and a very disappointing start to this 150-lap race here at Tucson. This is from our speed spot located right down from the starter stand. There's the trouble.
Yeah, that was Lance Hook. Ooh, man, they're driving right in there, Kevin.
Oof, man. Well, what's going to happen now is they're going to red flag this thing because it's going to take quite a while to clean up the debris and get the cars off the track, and then they're going to have a complete restart. So, it doesn't look like there's anybody hurt, but a lot of damaged equipment in this Featherlite Southwest Tour race at Tucson. We'll be right back. Chris Trickle's car, and as you can see, there is a bunch of wreckers and flashing lights ahead of him, and that's because we had a major pileup involving 12 cars just as they came down for the green flag. And we will once again show you what led to the trouble that has knocked out several cars here before we even got the green.
I watched the yellow car back in about the 5th row. That's Chris Rodman. He gets a great jump, but then he realizes in NASCAR racing, you cannot pass until you get to the start-finish line on the first lap of the race. So when he backed up to get in line, other cars started hitting him and spinning him out, and it just basically blocked the racetrack. Watch this as he goes across the racetrack, and it's blocked. There's no place for anyone to go.
2 more angles now to show you on this wreck. Again, 12 cars were involved in one way or another, some not damaged as badly as others, but boy, a lot of bent fiberglass out there.
I saw Rick Crawford's car come into the speed shot, the nose of the car.
Now Rodman goes across the track and collides with Danny Crafton, I believe, the 40s right there.
That was Sean Monroe that.
And there you can see Lance Hooper, the 07 car. He does have damage on the right front of that car, slid down into the infield, but kept going and went on around.
Yeah, he ran in the back of the 93 car. I think Hooper is the guy who hit the 93 car and turned him around. And Sean Monroe in the 48 car, the surfer dude, was the car that Rodman was on the inside of when he decided that I better back up and get to the start-finish line.
Now, did you get your trip with Sean Monroe all worked out to go see AC/DC?
Well, he's invited me. He's invited me to Phoenix. I think it's in January 29th or 30th in Phoenix that they're appearing. But
you're not going to go?
I don't think so. I think I'd be just a tiny bit out of place.
Nah, not you, BP. You can adjust anything. All right, waiting for the cleanup to be completed and the race to start in ESPN2's Winter Heat. Those are the cars that were involved in that first lap crash just before the start-finish line. Now, again, some of those cars are damaged more than others, and some will be able to resume. However, they were involved in the incident. We are under a red flag condition here. The question is, are they able to work on their cars back in the pit area? Bill, what they've decided back there?
They just gave them the okay. They just started working on the cars. We're back here. There are a bunch of cars back here. I'm standing next to Ron Hornaday's car. I'm going to lean right in here. Ron, did you see what happened at the beginning there?
Nah, it was kind of pretty neat. A lot of cars went everywhere. I had nowhere to go, and I got in the back end. But, you know, Ernie Cope and them guys put this car together rather well, and we thought we had a good car to go to the front because I missed it qualifying, and took a radiator out of it. So we're going to go ahead and bolt one in there, start the back of the pack, see what we can do.
Yeah, they kept you from working on it for a little while. A little confusion back here?
That was pretty tough because we didn't even take the green. We didn't even cross the line yet, and we couldn't even work on them to red. So, I mean, it's basically showing you're only going to start half the cars in the field. But NASCAR's doing a great job so far, so we'll see out there and put on a race.
Okay, now he's got, you know, he was here to win, but for the guys that are here to run for points, Benny, this is going to be a big blow to them. A lot of them are not going to pick up many points today, and we go to Phoenix next time out for this series, and that's going to cost a lot of guys maybe even positions in the starting field as we saw here. We can walk down here in a few minutes and see if we can't get some of the other guys.
That's great. You know, that really is a wonder why NASCAR did not allow them to work on the cars, because as Ron Hornaday said, they threw the green to start the race, but they did not complete a lap, and NASCAR said already, they've already said that they're going to have a complete restart. So why didn't they allow them to work on the cars?
Normal conditions, you cannot work on your car during a red flag if it comes during the race. But the race had not started yet.
Really, it hadn't. So.
Well, last week, Greg Biffle crowned the champion, but before that, some real unfortunate and tragic news, really, regarding a young race driver named Chris Saylor, who was critically injured in an accident during the B main. There is very optimistic news about Chris Saylor. They are trying to get him off life support, and he has regained consciousness. In fact, today we hear that he is sitting up. He does recognize those that come to visit him. He is responding to command, and so there is every reason to believe that Chris Saylor is going to be all right. And as you saw, our thoughts and prayers are with him. Everybody here at the racetrack, the drivers and all the crew members and team officials signed a letter and that banner that you saw.
And also the ESPN people.
Yes.
Everyone here connected with ESPN is saying, get well, Chris.
Well, tomorrow on ESPN at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, it's the NPSL, indoor soccer at its best. The Kansas City Attack and the St. Louis Ambush. The Attack coming off a come-from-behind victory against Tampa Bay. They trailed 1-0, came back 13-5. St. Louis, defending NPSL champions, are 2-1 in their last 3 games. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here on ESPN2 NPSL Soccer.
Well, Doug McGowan was in the accident. He's back on the race. As a matter of fact, he was the car that the other one was sitting on top. Michael Alsop was sitting on top of this car. He's been back in the garage area, and they've worked on the car. He's back.
Rick Crawford was also involved in the incident. How bad is he tore up, Bill?
Well, Bob, like most of the cars down here, your car's torn up pretty bad, Rick.
Yeah, it's one of them deals where everybody, when something like that happens, you run into and get run over. So it's one of them deals. We hit the wall pretty hard with the right front wheel and bent some right front suspension. The car could be fixed, but you know, we're behind. We come to win, and this is the bottom line here.
You came here so a few more race fans might get to know you too, and you came a long way for that purpose, and now that's pretty much over with.
Well, I was real proud when they announced my name up there, you know, and walked across the podium. A lot of fans cheered because we run second here last time and had a good run. We was hoping for one today, but that's racing.
Okay, that's Rick Crawford. He's behind the wall with a bunch of other guys. Thanks, Rick. Back up top.
All the way from Alabama, the Slim Jim All-Pro Tour is where Rick does most of his racing. Hey, Hornaday's back out there, Benny.
Hornaday and Lance Hooper's back out there as well, and those cars are very similar. They're both wrecks.
They're both a mess.
Yeah, they're both a mess.
Now, those cars who did not go to the pits retain their starting position, but those that did go to the pits will line up at the rear of the field. So we're just a few minutes away from the restart of this event here at Winter Heat in Tucson Raceway Park. We'll be right back.
Pace car is rolling. Several of the cars that had pulled off the track have fired. Jim Engelbrad, who came back behind the wall to check on some rubbing sheet metal, has just returned. He'll have to loop around the entire garage area and head on back to the track. So we're about to get ready to go back to racing after a, well, somewhat spectacular start here this afternoon, guys.
Real quick story about Jim Engelbright. When he came here to qualify in 1993, he was just set to go out to qualifying, and his daughter Jordan, who was 3 years old at the time, fell in the grandstand and hurt her head very, very badly. And of course, Jim was very concerned about it, but he went out onto the racetrack and qualified, wanting to get back to her as quickly as possible. He set the track record, and that track record still stands today. By the way, he went on to win that race. Jordan, she's fine.
That's a great story. There's Jim Engelbright. And the cars are going back in the original position. We felt like that Hornaday would have to start at the rear of the field and Lance Hooper, but NASCAR are lining those cars up where they originally started.
Yep, the original word we got was if you went to the pits, you had to go to the back, but now NASCAR has changed their mind, and everybody goes back to his original starting position.
Man, they got some wrecks running around here.
And it's really too bad, because one of the things that Benny and I noticed first thing this morning when we walked through the pit area was how beautiful these cars were. They were just immaculate.
They were probably one of the finest fields I've ever seen in this type of racing. And the All-Pro, Southwest Tour, Northwest Tour, any of this type of class cars, they were gorgeous.
ESPN RPM tonight is coming up right after our race in about an hour from right now. And Kenny Mayne will fill you in on everything that happened in the world of motorsports this past weekend, with reports on activity in the Winston Cup Series and the U.S. 500. They have an announcement regarding that, the IndyCar race that we held at Michigan International Speedway on the same day as the Indy 500. So a lot coming up. You'll want to stay tuned for RPM tonight in about an hour and 5 minutes from right now. That is, if we are able to get this race in within that time period. We have run no laps so far, and we've already been on the air about 23 minutes, but we are close to getting a green flag once again.
It looks like there's about 20 cars. I loosely counted them. I think there's about 20 cars on the racetrack, so 6 of them is not even going to try to start.
Yep, that's what I count, 20 on the track right now. Bill, what's going on back where you are?
Well, I can walk you through back here if we get a chance. This is M.K. Kanke's car. He's behind the wall right here. You can see they're working on the front end of his car. We can walk down here, and here's the car of Bill Lawrence. We've got 5 cars back here that I can find so far. This is Bill Lawrence. We talked to Ricky. Here's his car. So he's behind the wall. Also, the 46 car of Danny Crafton is back here. You can see the front end damage here on the 74 car of Rick Crawford, or the 14 rather, of Rick Crawford. Danny Crafton is back here, and there's also the 93 car of Chris Rodman is back here. They're pretty torn up, guys.
Well, if you want something to do down there, Bill, Danny Crafton's got some English Bulldogs over there in his motorhome. You go over and play with them. I play with them all morning.
I think he's using them to work on the car right now, guys.
Good.
They are cool dogs, aren't they?
They are. So ugly, they're beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. 2 laps to go. We'll get the green flag and be off once again. Couple of stories, Benny, about drivers who did not qualify. Last night in Pleasanton, California, Scott Busby picked up the Closed Wheel Driver of the Year award on an oval course from the Motorsports Press Association. Flew here all night on a chartered plane, did not make the show. And Bob Lyon was going for his 74th consecutive series start, and he failed to make the lineup. So that consecutive starting streak has come to an end for Bob Lyon.
I mean, it was tough. Exactly half the cars over here started the race. 56 here, 28 started the race.
1 to go. There's Mark Grosskreutz. He's coming back out onto the racetrack with the front end of that car missing.
You know, see the radiator sitting out in the front of the car on Grosskreitz's car?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'd think that that would really cool good, right? Wrong.
No?
Because you need to force the air through the radiator, and there's nothing there to force it through there.
Well, here we go. Hopefully, once again, they come down through turns 3 and 4. It is the 55 car of Kevin Harvick on the pole. The green is out, and this time we are underway for sure.
Oh, Sean Monroe. Around he goes, and we've got a mess down in turn 1 again.
Engelbright is involved. So is Ron Hornaday. The 65 car of Dennis Woolridge involved again. So is the 9 of Doug Reno. Wow, we ran a quarter of a lap that time without a crash. Boy, Boy, if we could ever get this thing going, it might be a good race, huh?
Oh, the left rear just went flat on the 48 car, Sean Monroe. You see the car took off, and then something happened to the left front, the left rear, I should say. I think maybe that the rear housing, some kind of support, broke on that car, and that's why there's something broken on the left rear of that car.
Anyway, that is the surfing dude, Sean Monroe, from Malibu, California, who has stopped near the entrance of the pits. Here it is again, Benny.
Yeah, there around he goes. Now, is someone going to hit him in the rear? Yeah. Yeah, the 20 car of Englebright comes along and nails him in the left rear, and that did him in.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, let's see if from this angle, if we can see what might have caused. Oh, Monroe makes some contact with the 7 car.
With Ron Eaton in 7.
Yeah, exactly. And Englebright comes along, and that's what does the damage to the left rear.
Yep. Man.
Well, you know, we've got radio contact with Sean Monroe. I wonder.
Well, we'll check with Sean in a few minutes. There is Englebright, who once again is damaged, and this time it may be terminal. He's out of the car and walking back to the pit area. We're going to take another break. We're still not underway here at Tucson Raceway Park, but we'll be back in a moment. However, they are counting the caution laps now, and so 5 actual laps of the race have been completed, none under green.
And we eliminated a couple more cars, so I guess 21 cars restarted, and now we've eliminated a couple more.
Just moments ago, while the cleanup was going on over in turn number 2, Sean Monroe got out of his car and made some kind of a gesture and asked some kind of a question to Ron Eaton. I wouldn't speculate on exactly what
he's going back to Bill Weber. We'll ask Bill. Bill, what did he ask to Ron Eaton?
Well, I'll ask him, guys. Sean, I know you're upset. You're really disappointed. Your race car is pretty much wrecked, and obviously you were looking for a conversation with Ron Eaton there.
Well, you know, I don't know. That's racing. I just kind of figured let's let the first lap go. But, you know, he's old. He must know what he's doing. But, hey, Ben, I just want to say hi to you. And we're going to get her fixed up here, put the other spare rear end in, and we'll go out there and run. We're going to come out here and have some fun anyways. And if we can't get it together, maybe Benny let me come up there and top, and I can talk to somebody. I ain't driving.
Well, how about it? You had a real good qualifying run here, too.
Yeah, we qualified second quick. You know, the team's really worked hard. I'd like to thank Ramjet, Stick Only, LTR, SMP, everybody, you know, because without them, I wouldn't be here, Woodland Hills Auto Body. So, you know, we tried. We ran up front when we qualified, and we just didn't get a chance to run today. But we're going to get her fixed up, and we're going to go back out there and give her a little hack.
Benny says rock on, pal.
Hey, Benny, we'll be at ACDC, me and you, bro.
You bet. Can't wait for that. See you at ACDC. We're going to arrange this concert tour. Man, I tell you, those two have really sparked a relationship here.
All right, let's go. There's Sean Monroe. There's the Ron Eaton that we're talking about, the 7 car. He tries to go under Chris Trickle, does Ron Eaton, and Monroe was trying to go under the 7 car. And they made some contact. Monroe spins out, and the 20 car of Jim Englebright comes along, catches Sean Monroe's left rear, and does serious damage. There's Ron Eaton that we're talking about, the fastest qualifier.
And the defending champion of the Repco Northwest Tour. The car most seriously damaged besides Sean Monroe is Jim Englebright. He is going to be out of the competition. There it is. Yeah. And in fact, they're putting it on a rollback. That's what is holding up the restart of this race right now. As soon as that car can get off the racetrack, we should be able to go back to racing. We have got 8 laps of racing, although none under green insofar. This is allowing us to take some commercial breaks so that we can get them out of the way before the racing actually begins. We are trying to get Jim Englebright's car off of the racetrack onto the rollback, and as you can see, they're about halfway completed with their job. So we remain under caution, 11 laps, and the cautions are counting. Here's Bill Weber.
With Jim Englebright, who qualified unlucky 13th here today, and you haven't had a very good run. We've seen your car, so what happened?
Well, you know, the first lap there, I don't know what happened. Everybody got off to a slow start, and I got into the back of Lance. And then that next one, you know, Lance went low. He got a little sideways, so I thought, well, I'll just go up. I didn't even know Sean was there, and I just got right into him, just one of them. I just didn't want to hit his door, so I just kind of aimed up at the rear end and got into it.
They looked about 10 wide there coming through turn 2 on the first lap. That's not the idea, is it?
Well, not on the first lap. You can't win this thing, you know, but I'm all right. That's all that matters. It hurt the car pretty good. Thank God we got a brand new one setting at the shop for Phoenix, so we'll be all right.
Better luck there.
Thanks. Everybody, hi. I'm all right.
Jim Englebright finished second in the Featherlite Southwest Tour points. Last year, he posted 9 top 5 finishes during the season. What's going on there?
The hood fell off the car. Up on the
sailing
record.
through the air. Here is the very first wreck. That's before we got to the green flag.
Watch the yellow car in the 5th row. He's going to get turned right in the side of Danny Crafton. There's Crawford in the wreck. There goes Hornaday in the side of Crawford. I mean, half the field wreck.
M.K. Kanke's down there and Danny Crafton and others. And then after we got that mess cleaned up, this is what happened as they got the green flag and went to 1.
Watch the white car, Sean Monroe, underneath Ron Eaton. He spins, he goes up the racetrack, and there's Englebright, as he talked about, with no place to go.
Englebright in number 20. Ron Hornaday is there in number 10. Hornaday, however, is still in the race, and we are going to try to go back to racing, or try to start this race as the pace car has its lights out. We'll be making the sharp left turn. And the field now under the command once again of Kevin Harvick. And the green flag is waving. We are underway. 15 laps completed. 60 to go to the halfway point.
Man, Craig Rodman, I thought he was going to take the lead. But he does work his way up into second place. That's the black number 2 car, the Advantage Memory.
John Walsh is running third at 28. And a battle for the lead once again. Craig Rodman, all 3 of them almost, all 3 of them spin. Rodman, Harvick, and Walsh. Is there a caution? Yes, there is. All 3 cars, however, have been restarted.
And
can you believe this?
I don't think they lost. No, I can't, as a matter of fact. This is falls under the unbelievable. Now, look here who's leading the race.
Yeah, Ron Eaton.
Our fastest qualifier.
Yep. Started 8th and through a series of events, eliminations, he's now leader. Here's what happened. Top 3 cars spin.
That's Kevin Harvick in the 55. He and Craig Rodman in the 2 make contact. And we see Walsh. Now, this 28 car is the car that was driven by Ron Hornaday here in December that won the race. He locks it up and spins, and I don't believe those 3 cars did anything.
No, I don't believe they did either.
Another angle.
Rodman was headed for one of those light poles over there, but he did not hit it. Once again, here it is coming off the second corner. Contact. Walsh slams on the brakes. Ooh, see how Rodman was headed for the light pole, but didn't hit anything, and I think everybody is unscathed.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, so far the scoreboard says 18 laps. We have yet to run a green flag lap.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, look at this angle. It looked like they were dancing. What do you call that? Swimming.
Synchronized.
Synchronized swimming or
yes.
Something, yes.
A synchronized spin. So it's Eaton up front now, and Chris Trickle and John Metcalf are trying to decide who will go to second position. Looks like Trickle might do that. But the news is that we're under caution, believe it or not, with 19 laps completed here at Tucson. Just as you rejoin us, the green flag waves, and we are racing again. Let's hope we can get a full lap of green in. Look at Lance Hooper down there underneath Metcalf trying to take third position. He was involved in that original crash and is now up to third.
Man, oh man. Battle for the lead. Chris Trickle is trying to take the lead on the outside of Ron Eaton.
Trickle has a half a car length on Eaton as they go down the backstretch and into turn 3. Chris Trickle has the lead on the line, trying to make it 2 wins in a row here at Tucson. He won the Winston Challenge race last weekend. Ron Hornaday is also very much in contention, although he was involved in the original accident.
This is Brian Germoni, the in-car.
Whoop, we got a spin, BP.
Oh, not another one. Michael Alsop is fun, is sitting there coming off turn 4. Come on, Michael, fire this baby up.
All right.
Oh, he did. No caution.
He's off the track. No caution. The race continues. Trickle now has the lead over Ron Eaton. Lance Hooper running third. John Metcalf is fourth, and fifth is Brian Germoni.
In car 5.
Yes.
There's Chris Trickle as he looks back at the field. This is our leader. The Star Nursery onboard camera.
The race for third, Hooper and Metcalf. Metcalf in the pink number 87, Hooper in the 07. And Lance has the spot. Now Germoni comes up to battle with Metcalf. They're lapping Danny Crafton in number 46 on the left of your screen. Danny involved in that crash just after the green flag originally.
Mark Grosskreis was just black flagged by the Southwest Tour officials.
There's third, fourth, and fifth. Hooper, the Southwest Tour champ, is third. The 19 car of Tony Toast is running very slow at the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 4. We'll watch that situation while we keep an eye also on Ron Hornaday in car number 10. That's an Ernie Cope car.
Is he running 6?
Yes, he is.
Man.
Another spin involving the John Walsh car, number 28. He's the guy that was running third a little bit ago and spun, and now he's done it once again. And yes, this time there is a caution. Caution's out on lap number 33. 33 completed.
I think that, and we got another car.
And that's
Kevin Harvick. Oh, and he runs in the 19. Where did 19 car?
Well, I told you that he was running very slow at the bottom of the racetrack, and he stopped down there, and Harvick hit him.
And the 34 car of Doug McCown was also involved in this little deal somehow.
There's McCown. He catches up with the rest of the field.
And Harvick has been lapped now.
Well, it all began on the backstretch. Let's see if we can determine how and what happened.
Okay, there's the 55 car, and these two guys are running side by side, and the 34 goes and runs in the back of Kevin Harvick. That's what happened to that little deal. And as Harvick spins, he comes down and backs into the 19 car.
That was just sitting there, disabled.
That's the Tony Toast car, the 19. Yep. Man, I've never seen such a thing. There's Harvick. He's back going again.
And Toast is getting a push to either restart or to the garage pit area.
I think he's going to the garage area.
I think so, too. Well, okay, 34 laps completed. It is Chris Trickle leading what is turning out to be a crash fest in Tucson. Well, it is really hot here in the desert Southwest this weekend. Winter heat, our next to the last performance of the 96 season. Things heat up tomorrow on ESPN2 as number 3 St. Peter's takes on number 3 Kansas. St. Peter's led by Randy Holmes. Kansas with one of the best teams in the nation. That is at 7:30 tomorrow night, and then right after that, George Washington will play number 15 Virginia Tech. So it should be a great night of basketball beginning at 7:30 tomorrow on The Deuce. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, this is where the crew chiefs and the spotters watch these winter heat races from at Tucson Raceway Park. This is Mike Stewart. He's the crew chief for Lance Hooper, and it's not pretty but effective so far.
It's definitely not pretty. We've dodged our share of bullets so far, and the car's running real good. I think we're just a little bit off still. We'll make a little adjustment at halftime, and I still think we can win this thing.
How much damage to your car other than what we can see?
It's not too bad. Might be a little bit of toe out in it. Hit the left front wheel. But it's not too bad. Mostly physical, damage to the body.
Challenges the driver, huh?
Yeah, and he's a good one. He'll get the job done.
Mike Stewart, he's the crew chief for Lance Hooper, and we're ready to go green, guys.
Hooper originally started 11th, started 19th on the restart. He's up to 3rd, and the green comes out on lap 39.
And he's battling for 2nd.
Ron Eaton is battling with him down the backstretch, but Hooper unable to take the position away from Eaton.
Yeah, you would think that they're running fast enough that aerodynamics would mean something here.
Chris Trickle has separated himself from Ron Eaton and the others. That 10 car of Hornaday is by no means out of this thing, Benny.
No, he's certainly running very, very well to be as banged up as he is. I mean, he has no front end of the car whatsoever. And we see he got the car a little bit loose there as he came off the second corner. That's Hornaday in the 10 car.
He's going to be here next weekend, too, isn't he, in the Winston West race?
Yes, he is. This car is sold. The Ron Hornaday, the 10 car, was sold. I hope they got the money up front.
Yeah, they're going to buy a wreck at this rate. Brian Germoni, who's carrying one of our roof cams, is currently in 6th position. There he is in number 5. And behind him is Craig Rodman in number 2.
Rodman was one of the cars that ran up front early on. As a matter of fact, I think led the race. Remember, he and Kevin Harvick made some contact coming off the second corner.
Harvick, by the way, is still in the race. Now Rodman going to the inside of Germoni, and he's got it. Seeing a tremendous sunshine. This weather, you cannot order better weather. The sun is beating down, but you can see how it's given our cameras a little bit of trouble because of the shadows that they encounter once in a while. Does it have a problem? Does it make a problem for the drivers?
Yes, it does, because a lot of these fellows, and Rodman goes by Hornaday to take over the spot. See the tape on the windshield of Rodman's car? That's to keep the sun out of his eyes as best they can. That's his sun visor, in other words. Right now, we've got a battle for the lead off the 4th corner. Chris Trickle in the blue 70 and Ron Eaton in the 7 car.
We understand that Ron Hornaday has lost a cylinder, so it may be that his charge to the front is going to stall out. There he is. The 73 car of Mark Reed is riding right beside him and now has passed Hornaday. Meanwhile, back up front, it is Eaton trying to work to the inside of Chris Trickle for the lead.
The pass coming off the 4th corner.
Behind him, meanwhile, there's a great battle for 4th position. That's Rodman on the inside of Metcalf. Cooper, Metcalf, and Rodman is the way they're running right there.
Slow coming off the 4th corner.
That is the 57 of Mark Wilson going very slowly down the front straightaway. He is entering the pits. Tape on the windshield of Ron Eaton's car, trying to keep that sun out of his eyes. And look behind. Here is the battle for 3rd position now. Rodman to the inside of Hooper. Oh, some contact coming off the corner. Rodman successful, though, in taking 3rd from Hooper. So now it's Trickle, Eaton, Rodman, Hooper, and Metcalf, the top 5. There is the battle up front. Ron Eaton finished 6th in the winter heat race that we had here on December 10th, a non-points paying race, and spends most of his time running the Repco Northwest Tour race. He's to the inside of Trickle once again in turns 1 and 2, slides up the racetrack and still can't take the spot away from Chris.
This is great racing between these 2 cars. How do you pronounce that sponsor? Speed Hector? That's a pain.
They are very much involved in motorsports. They also sponsor a championship car out here on the West Coast.
As we watch the battle for the lead, Mark Reed in the 73 car. Got the car sideways coming off the corner, and the slow car does it for Eaton. He's able to get the lead from Chris Trickle, and there is
Rodman.
Craig Rodman.
It's a 3-car battle. That slow car was Dennis Woolridge at number 65, and he threw the pick that Eaton needed to get under Chris Trickle and to take over the lead. A great 3-car battle going on here.
Craig Rodman has been driving awfully hard, I should say.
Yes. Rodman finished 3rd in the Southwest Tour race that we had here on December 10th, and he takes 2nd from Trickle.
trying to take the lead away from Eaton. He does it. Rodman is...
Oh, he got a little loose there coming off the corner, but he still held on to the lead.
And Eaton looked like he tried to turn under Rodman like Dale Earnhardt would do at Darlington, but it didn't work as well as Earnhardt does it.
Got 14 laps to go to the halfway point. 61 have been completed. The race is going quickly once we got it under green.
And Rodman is in see ya.
Yeah, he is a rocket ship out there.
65 car, Dennis Woolridge with black flag. There's some sheet metal waving on his car, some fiberglass.
We might point out, Benny, that yes, Craig Rodman, the leader of the race, it was his brother that was involved in that accident we had before the green flag.
Chris Rodman, yes, the yellow 93 car.
Started 5th in the lead.
Speaking of the 93 car, he's sitting over there in the garage. There he was, preparing to go back on the racetrack.
Yeah, whenever he can find a clear spot, he's going to, and there he is, back on the racetrack. That's Chris Rodman in car number 93, back in competition, albeit several laps down. Here comes his brother.
The leader of the race in the black number 2 car, Craig Rodman.
Lapping the 61 of Michael Alsop and the 34 of Doug McCowan. There's 2nd Eaton, there's 3rd Trickle, 4th Hooper, 5th is Metcalf. It's Metcalf in the pink 87. And there's Brian Germoni, who is back in 6th position. We ride with him on top of his car, the roof cam.
This Cofer tape and reel, he could be in the TV business, couldn't he?
Yeah. 6 to go to the halfway break. 69 completed. And Rodman is just driving away now from Eaton and Trickle.
They're definitely going to have to make some changes, some chassis changes during the break. There's going to be a brief break at halfway. They're going to have to make some changes to be able to keep up with that 2 car.
There is Craig Rodman, the leader of the race, about to complete lap number 71, 4 to the halfway break. And I hope they make this break short, because we're going to go over if they don't, because of all the accidents we had at the very beginning of the event. And here's the 81 of Roger Avance and the 28 of John Walsh. This is the battle for 8th position. Avance, the winner of the B main that got him into the field. And Walsh was an up-front starter, and there's some contact there in turn 4.
McDonald's sponsorship on the Roger Avance car. That's not corporate McDonald's, but the Colorado McDonald's dealers. A lot of them pitched in. They're helping him out.
And we're about to get the yellow flag here to signify the halfway point of the event.
We see that Sean Monroe is back in the race. They just left by the 48 car. Now then, Craig Rodman has taken the yellow flag at the halfway.
Yep, we are at the halfway point. 75 laps completed, 75 to go. And now the cars head back into the pit area, and the crews can do any kind of work that they want to. And shortly after that, we'll have another 75 lap dash. Well, a very interesting first 75 laps that saw many cars eliminated and many besides that damaged badly. But we also saw some great racing up front.
And we saw a dominant car in Craig Rodman. Now, you know, if he makes his car any better, they're not going to catch him. If he makes some changes and makes it worse, then and these fellows can make a change to help out.
So there you can see the pace car leads them back into the pit area, and the crews now begin to go to work. Here's Bill Weber, and we put him to work.
And the cars are pulling into the garage area, and we're in the pit of Craig Rodman, who's having a little trouble negotiating the tight conditions down here and he has rolled his car in here. He finished third here in the earlier winter heat race we had for the Southwest Tour. They're going to drop the window net. He's going to have a brief conversation, then he's going to get a drink, and we're going to lean right in here and talk to him. Greg, obviously a great first half for you.
Yeah, the car is just working super. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better car. Got in a little bit of trouble there at the start, but, you know, I had to redeem myself there.
You passed two pretty quick cars there late in the first half of the race, the 70 and the 7.
Yeah, those guys were cutting a pretty good pace there, but I think their stuff kind of fell off a little bit there towards the end, and this car is just balanced perfect right now.
Well, Benny says if you get this car any better, nobody's going to touch you. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to take it all the way to the end. Victory lane.
That's where he's heading. We'll head back up to you guys.
Let me try Chris Trickle's radio and see if we can talk to him. Hey, Chris Trickle, this is Benny Parsons up at ESPN. You read me?
10-4, Benny, loud and clear.
What you going to do to catch that 2-car of Rodman's?
You know what, buddy? We're still looking over the car and seeing what our measurements are. We're going to check it over a little bit more and then make adjustments then. We're not quite sure what we're going to do yet.
Pushing loose?
Yeah, it started to loosen up there towards the end of the race, and Star Nursery Western Milling 70 car was running good there at the beginning and started to loosen up a little bit on us. We're going to try to make some adjustments to tighten it for the second half, and we'll be there.
Well, do something. Make this thing interesting, okay?
You got it, Benny.
Yeah, we're going to see a great race, huh?
Glad to see you operating on the right frequency this week, unlike last week. So, the halfway point is here. The cars are being worked on, and the top 10 as we go to break will show you that Craig Rodman is the leader, Eaton second, then Trickle, Hooper, and Metcalf, and we will be right back. NASCAR Winter Heat, the 5th of 6 in the 1995-96 winter season, is at the halfway point of this NASCAR Featherlite Southwest Tour event. Craig Rodman is the leader of the race, and now BP will talk to Brian Germoni on the radio.
All right, let's see if we can work this out. Hey, Brian, Benny Parsons up ESPN. You read me?
Yeah.
We got the camera watching you. Wave to the camera there, buddy. Hey, there you go. Hey, listen, what you going to do to get this thing up front?
And all the guys are working on it right now. So far so good. We're just going to game plan. We're supposed to keep. My job was to keep the fenders on it for 75 laps, and believe me, that was pretty tough to do. I don't have to use any of the shots from the in-car camera. I got a couple good views there for a while, but we're going to make some changes to the car. We'll put some tires on it. The car is pretty tight right now, but I think we can fix it. Roger Bracken and the guys, Kofa Corporation, are doing a really good job for me today.
Okay, with 10 laps to go, you'll use the fenders up if you got to, right?
That's right. The job changes now. When I get 10 laps to go or 20 laps to go, we're going to do our best to stay up there. But these are good guys we're racing with, and it feels good. It feels good right now to be in the hunt. There's a lot of good cars are already out of it, but hey, we're going to do our best to get up there. That's for sure.
Well, good luck to you, Brian.
Thanks a lot.
And Bill Weber is with the guy who's running second right now, Ron Eaton.
And it's a guy who told me before the race he's retired. Not bad for a retired guy.
I said I just golf and race cars, about all I do now.
Yeah, obviously a good run for your second at this point.
Well, we're doing real good, and we lost our front brakes, and I had to just let off going in the corner, and they're bleeding the brakes right now, and hopefully we have front brakes. We'll be back in the hunt again.
Yeah, Ron, obviously a lot of traffic at the beginning of this race. You got caught up in a little bit of it with the 48 and some of the other guys.
I think that's why we lost the brakes. I had to jam on them a couple of times real hard to miss all that stuff, and then we paid the price. The brakes start going away, so we're trying to get the brakes fixed. If we get front brakes, we'll be right back into it.
Other adjustments?
Just tires, and we're ready to go.
Okay, Ron's going to go back to work here. They're going to put 4 tires on all these cars, and race officials are asking all these teams to please step up the pace because this break's going to be pretty short, guys.
Wow. All right. Hey, look at that. That's the Budweiser blimp.
Looks like a submarine underwater with
Yeah.
a big mount. Oh, see there, we done blew the whole deal with a blue sky there.
He's here, of course, from the Super Bowl.
I guess he's over the golf course where the Tucson Open is going on today.
All right. Okay, well, let's take another break here while the drivers are back in the pit area getting adjustments done to their cars. We'll be back with the second 75 laps in just a moment. Now I have seen everything. There are actually people in the grandstand who want Benny to run for president in 1996. There, by the way, is Benny's summer home up there on top of that mountain.
Right.
He and Terry hang out there during the winter months.
We could make that young lady my press secretary or something, right?
Yeah, well,
Holding
sure.
The banner. Thank you, dear.
Well, Craig Rodman is the leader of this race, and he and the others are getting back out onto the racetrack, trying to make this break as short as possible so we can get this all in before 4:30 local time, 6:30 Eastern. There he is.
Man. Bad for us if he's going to be working like he was. The chassis is going to be working like it was at the beginning, because he's going to say, see ya.
And don't forget RPM tonight with Kenny Mayne with all the auto racing news will be on right after the conclusion of this race. And we get down now to Bill Weber.
Lance, good thing it's not a beauty contest, but you're running pretty well.
Yeah, the car's running great. I don't know what everyone's hurry was in the first opening lap, but heck, I thought I was going to start leading this thing before we still got some hard laps.
How is it handling?
Yeah, it's really loose right now. I don't know if it's because of the body or what, but we made some adjustments and we should be a little stronger.
Want to tell us what those were?
Excuse me?
Want to tell us what those adjustments were?
No.
No, he doesn't want, is what he's saying. And I'll tell you what, he actually dropped his net. They were ready to push him out, and there he goes. So he's going to put the net back up and climb back into competition, guys. And this team right down here is pretty optimistic. When I couldn't talk to him the first time, they said, it's okay. You'll be able to get him in victory lane.
Wow.
The defending Southwest Tour champion, 9 poles, 5 wins en route to the championship last year.
Some of the stories that Kenny Mayne will probably touch on in RPM tonight. Harry Gant's going to run a few selected truck events, super truck events. In 96, Earnhardt signed with Childress through 2000. There's still no Pontiac news. I don't even think Kenny Mayne has that news. Texas, I went to Texas this week, and Kenny Mayne will be reporting on that with RPM tonight.
Good.
Looked at the Texas Motor Speedway. So, folks, you'll be able to see that on RPM tonight.
It's also going to probably have highlights of this race. And let's take a look at what happened in the first 75 laps. You're not going to believe some of this stuff. They're coming down for the green flag. Everybody nice, shiny, and in good shape. And then watch the yellow car in the 5th row.
That, folks, is a mess. Genuine mess. Now, restart. They go down in turn 1.
Boom.
Sean Monroe makes contact. Along comes Engelbright. Also, Wolfenstein was involved in the 12 car.
And then a little bit after that, look at this. Craig Rodman, who is now leading this race, had to go around with Harvick and Walsh.
Makes no contact with anything.
That was worse. First, second, and third at that point. Then Harvick, once again, as he made his way up through the back of the pack, got some help from Doug McCowan.
And around he goes. So those were the 3 caution flags, and that first one was huge. It took about 15, 20 minutes to straighten out the mess there.
And that's why we are running late and will undoubtedly not be able to get off the air in 20 minutes time. But hang in there. We got some good racing to go, and RPM tonight will be on right after that. Here's the field summary showing you where everybody is at the present time. There's 1 through 15, and now 16 through 26. Actually, only 3 cars, amazingly, are out of this race. But there is a lot of
cars that are several laps down.
Yeah, and a lot of damaged material out there on the track, too.
As a matter of fact, there are several cars out there that are on the lead lap that are look like a wreck.
Battling for the lead, as a matter of fact. Here's Bill Weber with Chuck Trickle.
And he's making his way over here. We couldn't quite get to him, so he came to us. Chuck, son had a good run there in the first half.
Real good, real good. We were real fast the first 35 laps, and then tires went away a little bit, and we got a little bit loose, and we tightened the car up, and I think we're going to be real good. And, you know, the whole thing, we're going for this 19-race series. We want to win the championship. We went home with a 3rd place. You know, that'd be good worth. But we want to go first.
Yeah, how was your week after the win last week?
Oh, God. I can't explain it. You know, the calls and you know, it's just unexplainable. So we're real happy with the situation last year and last week and this week. We're going to be fine and go from here.
I shouldn't say anything, but what are you holding in your hand here? You're watching the race, and what else are you doing?
I'm watching the Green Bay Packers.
And what's an update? Can you give us an update?
24-17 Green Bay, or Dallas.
And you're for?
And Green Bay.
Of course, because you're from?
Wisconsin.
Okay, and he's going back to work. Chuck, thanks for running over here.
And I give the score to Chris every once in a while.
Good luck, cheeseheads.
Yeah, I wish I had one.
Well, maybe they'll celebrate in victory lane, guys. Chuck, thanks a lot. Back up top.
Bob, too bad about your Indianapolis Colts today.
Yeah, but you know, BP, they had a great season. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, they did have a great season,
Sure did.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, after last year not being knocked out of the playoffs,
They had something to prove.
Had something to prove. Going to the Super Bowl.
Going to the Super Bowl. We know one team that's going to be there, and we'll know later today the second team that's going to be here. Meanwhile, the field begins to move away, and the second 75-lapper is moments away. The NASCAR Featherlite Southwest Tour 150, part of NASCAR Winter Heat here at Tucson on ESPN2. About to go with 75 more laps of racing Tuesday night at 7:30. It's the MasterCard AHL All-Star Game. Top NHL prospects from around America and Canada will be competing in the 8th All-Star Game of the AHL. That will be held, by the way, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, one place where Benny Parsons spends almost every available weekend. Eating some of that great chocolate, huh?
I'm telling you. I'd rather go down to Boyer, PA, to where they make Mallow cups.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's much better. All right, we're ready to go racing.
Pace car pulls off the racetrack. Here we go. It's Rodman up front, running in second position, although third in the restart is Ron Eaton. The 27 car is second on the track. Here we go. And Trickle makes contact with Eaton and spins.
Oh, and they all wrecked behind him.
Oh, nope, the 19 spins, but didn't hit him. Whew. 19 is Tony Toast.
And guess what? No caution flag.
No.
Still, there's not a caution flag. It's poor Tony sitting down there.
But the car is running. It's off the racetrack. Remember the first late model race that we did here, and Chris Trickle had a problem there? Well, he's just taken himself out of contention. And Rodman has to slam on the brakes because the 19 car came up right in front of him.
Man, oh man, the leader of the race really had to slam on the brakes. The 7 car, he was talking about having trouble with his brakes. He might not have been able to stop if he still is having any type of problem at all.
So Rodman and Eaton put a lap on the 27 of Bill Lawrence. Here's what happened to Rodman now. Watch him go into turn 2, and right in front of him is Toast.
Man, he slams on the brakes and does avoid. I tell you what, without a spotter, there would have been a wreck there.
He'd have been toast, Benny.
Yes, he would have been.
Oh. Eaton staying right up there with Rodman, though, still on his back bumper. They pulled away somewhat from Lance Hooper, who is running in third spot. It's Metcalf in fourth, and Ron Hornaday Jr. is fifth. But look at this great battle up front. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Chris Trickle. This is right after they took the green flag for the restart of the second 75.
Exactly what happened to Sean Monroe in the 48 car earlier on. He goes in the corner, makes some contact with the 7 car of Ron Eaton and spins out. But he fortunately did not back up the racetrack in front of all the oncoming traffic.
And miraculously, nobody else was involved in that incident to the point of sustaining any damage. Here comes a group of cars being led by Harvick in 55. The 61 is Michael Alsop.
John Walsh in 28 and Roger Avance in the 81 car. And Walsh and Avance almost made contact several laps.
And the 5th car there in the mix is Mark Grosskreutz in number 72.
And the 57 car, Mark Wilson, has pulled off the racetrack into the garage area. There he goes into the garage area. So looks like he's out of the race as John Walsh makes him. Gets the car a little bit loose as he comes off the corner, and Avance gets the car loose as well in the 81.
Roger Avance won his first ever Southwest Tour race at Saugus in 1986. He finished 10th in the Southwest Tour race that we had here on December 10th. He's in the middle of a bunch of traffic right here. That's Kevin Harvick in number 55 right ahead of him. Harvick started from the pole in this race as the 8th fastest qualifier and has been involved in a couple of incidents. He was the 1995 Featherlite Southwest Tour Rookie of the Year.
Oh, they're 3 abreast.
Well, they made it. No big deal.
But Walsh, how did he do that? They went in the corner, 3 abreast. Walsh comes out in front, and Avance is going to take over from Harvick. So great move by both those guys. Now there's a battle for position as the 10 car of Ron Hornaday gets. Did he get by? Start saying he got by, but did he?
This is the battle for 5th position.
And Hornaday is passing Germoni, right?
No, Germoni is passing Hornaday. Hornaday is and has been running 5th, but no longer as Germoni. And now Hornaday comes back. Whoa!
And they reported that Hornaday was on 7 cylinders, and I was wondering if maybe if a spark plug wire had burned or come off or something, they would fix that in the brake. But we were not able to talk to Hornaday and find out if that, in fact, was the case.
Well, Germoni has passed him and now begins to pull away from Hornaday.
So I guess he still is on 7 cylinders.
Yeah, must be. Brian Germoni, the 1990 Rookie of the Year in the Featherlite Southwest Tour Series. He's been racing since 1989, has 2 wins. One of them came in 1994, and the other came last year. 6th in Featherlite Southwest Tour points in 1995. And 95 laps have been completed as the lead continues to be held by Greg Rodman with Ron Eaton second, followed by Lance Hooper, John Metcalf, and Brian Germoni. Benny Parsons and Bill Weber back at Tucson Raceway Park in the 5th of 6 winter heat races for 1996. We're looking back from Chris Trickle's car, and that behind him is the battle for the lead as Ron Eaton on your right has come up to challenge Rodman and takes the lead in turn 4.
That's Doug Reno in the 9 car, a car that they're trying to put a lap on, and he moved up and in front of Rodman. And Eaton came along and took the lead. Now then, these cars are trying to put a lap on Trickle. There we see Chris Trickle in the blue number 70. And Eaton, he's going to run in behind the slow car. What's going to happen now? Looks like he's going to do it.
Yep, Eaton is on the low side, and Rodman is caught behind the slower car. So Chris Trickle goes a lap down. And in the 5 winter heat races that we have had, and Trickle has participated in all of them, he's had 2 goods and 3 bads. He's been a 2nd, 23rd, 19th, 1st last weekend, and will not have a particularly good finish here this weekend. Now, Rodman is moving up on Eaton once again. Rodman in 2 and Eaton in 7.
He's coming back. Man, they are in some heavy, heavy traffic now.
They've got Kevin Harvick to lap here in the number 55. Eaton does so. And really, that pretty much clears him of the traffic. He's got another car ahead of him, but Rodman now is going to have to get by and lap that slower car.
And he does it. Here's Chris Trickle. I think Trickle's running about 7th right now. Yes, there's probably 6 cars in the lead lap. Oh, he's 8. There's 7 cars in the lead lap. 55 cars, a couple of laps down. Kevin Harvick.
Eaton to the high side of Wolfenstein. You can see up there's Wolfenstein in the number 12 car that Eaton is on the outside of.
Wolfenstein is from Pahrump, Nevada.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, he is. He's from Pahrump. He runs at Las Vegas Speedway Park and is the 2-time late model champion at that facility. And this is his first NASCAR Southwest Tour race and hopes to make as many as he possibly can. And there's Sean Monroe down there. He's
back.
Yep. By the way, that 87 car there that you got a quick glimpse of with John Metcalf was running 4th. The pink car with 7-Up sponsorship. Well, he was black flagged a few laps ago and had to go in to check a leak, a water leak, but he's back out there.
There we see Roger Avance just go by. He started 26th. No, he started 25th today and is currently running 5th.
Yep, won the B main and nearly really didn't make the field at all, but has come on nicely.
And he will win $200 for gaining the most positions if he can stay there from the wide world of maps here in Tucson. Every race, they put up $200 for the driver that can gain the most spots.
35 laps to go, by the way. 35 to go. 1:15 completed. We'll let the field go by here to show you where they're running and how close they're running to each other.
There's a Vance McDonald's car. There's some wrecks.
There's Hornaday. There's a leader and second place Rodman. Eaton and Rodman.
Uh-oh, Rodman's car getting a little bit loose. See the cars that came off turn 4. Lost the back end just a tick.
So it's Ron Eaton. Everything is okay, folks. Everything is okay. We'll be right back. The top 10 with 27 laps to go in the second half of the Featherlite Southwest Tour race here at Tucson Raceway Park. Ron Eaton is leader. Now, why did you scare me a while ago just before we went to break?
Because the 12 car of Wolfenstein was going straight for the wall, and he went out a camera shot, and I said, ooh, but he missed the wall, so he did a great job.
Ron Hornaday has just gone a lap down in the number 10 car.
7 cylinders. By the way, I wish you'd say NASCAR Southwest Featherlite Tour.
Oh, okay. Anything you want. We have 5 cars that are currently on the lead lap. And Avance in 5th position is the last car on the lead lap. There's Rodman. You think he's looking a little loose out there, BP?
Well, he did a little bit ago. As a matter of fact, he's losing some ground on the 7 car right now. Eaton is pulling away just a little bit.
Let's find out what Bill Weber has to add to all this.
I just talked to his crew. He's reporting that he's very loose. He almost hit the wall about 4 or 5 laps ago coming out of 2. They'd like to see a caution. He's used up his tires. They want a yellow so he can cool off his tires and make a run at the leader. Another quick story, just a brief word about Chris Trickle, guys. Great young kid. Been a different guy today, though, than we've seen the last 4 weeks out here. He's really been relaxed and, you know, fun to be around. This morning he had his game face on, and I'm sure that spin took a lot of the fun out of this race for him. He's going to try and run all 19 of these this year, and he wants as many points as he can get.
Well, we've just seen a change of 4th position, Benny.
Roger Avance, the 81 car, the McDonald's car, he passed Jamoni in the 5, the Cobra tape and reel automobile, and took over the 4th spot. So he's continuing on his way forwards, but he's got his work cut out for him, passing the front 2 cars especially.
Yeah, he sure does. But boy, what a performance after again winning the B main here today. Starting back in 25th position, next to the last, on the last row, he's now running in 4th spot. Roger from Littleton, Colorado. He won his first NASCAR. Whoops. John Walsh.
There we go.
No caution, though. He's off the racetrack.
Well, I tell you what, Craig Rodman caught a tough break there. He would love to have seen a caution and cool those tires down just a little bit. As he watches Avance drive away from him, there would see the 5 car. There's Lance Hooper. That's the 3rd place automobile. So
this is the battle for 3rd as Avance comes up to Lance Hooper.
Wow.
As I was saying, Avance won his first ever NASCAR Featherlite Southwest Tour race back in 1986 at the now closed Saugus Speedway. He was 10th in our winter heat race here on the 10th of December, the non-points paying race. And Avance, beside Hooper, into turn 3, takes the position away easily. And Roger Avance is up to 3rd.
Wow. Well, Roger, what a boy.
And if he could get a caution, he could close up to the leaders and may make a show out of this, huh?
Just might. Or if Rodman could catch a 7 car and they make some contact, yeah, you know.
All kinds of possibilities here. By the way, M.K. Kankey, I believe, is returning to the racetrack for the first time since the lap 1 crash.
Yes, he is.
He's going to run the last 14 laps of the race.
But he will pick up 4 or 5 spots.
Yep. And gain some points.
There's a 3rd place car, Roger Avance, as he comes off the corner now. Car, there goes Roger. Oh, the car in front of him smoking.
Yep.
Doug Reno in 9 car. Now, what's happened to our leaders? Let's go back and... Oh, Fred Rodman
spins in turn 2. Oh, the second place car. So, Benny, this is going to move Avance up to third. No caution, though.
Well, I don't know. He's still got to catch him. There we see now. Avance is right behind this big group of cars. There's Avance. He still is in third spot. That's the distance that Rodman had on Avance before he spun.
Yep, you're right. And we got 10 laps to go. Here's a replay. Watch the bottom of your screen.
That's the leader of the 7 car of Ron Eaton. And Rodman looked like he was catching him. I think he just got the adrenaline going, trying to catch him so hard. Just went the corner a little bit hard and spun.
But he did hold on to second position, Bill.
Take a good look at the 7 car when he goes through turns 1 and 2. The 2 was clearly catching him. I don't know if that's tire smoke from the car rubbing or if he's beginning to lose some fluid out the rear end, but you can see he's smoking out the rear end, and the 2 was coming. That spin is a big, big break for the 7 car.
It may ensure the victory for him. And we got 5 laps to go now. There's the leader, Ron Eaton.
And meanwhile, our second place and third place cars are mired in heavy traffic right in front of our leaders, as a matter of fact. Oh, and the 2 car spins. No, he didn't spin. I'm sorry, folks. He bout spun.
That doesn't count except in horseshoes.
But Kevin Harvick made some contact with him, and he got the car sideways, and you can see the 81 of Avance is closer than he was a moment ago. Will you give me that?
You're going to give me a heart attack before this thing's over.
Now watch. Oh, look at the 7.
Oh, he's up high, too, isn't he? Okay, watch.
There's a 2, the black number 2. Watch as Kevin Harvick goes up and makes contact. Now, that's when I saw him right there. I didn't think he could save
Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. 3 laps to go. Here is Avance in 81. He's caught Rodman now. This is the battle for...
Oh, and Rodman is really battling a loose race car. Battle for second, and Avance has it.
Unbelievable. Second place goes to Avance. Rodman drops back to third. Lance Hooper is not too far behind Rodman. In fact, is on the inside of him. And he gets him.
And Kevin Harvick runs him up the hill, and he gets him.
So now Hooper is third.
And there's Germoni. That's a battle for 5th spot.
Yep.
And Germoni moves into 5th, and Rodman has a flat tire. Right rear tire is flat.
Saved it again. White flag, 1 lap to go for Ron Eaton. He does have a flat right rear, but there is the leader of the race in the backstretch.
And his car is pitiful. Right now, the leader's car is pitiful.
But it's good enough to carry him to victory. There it is, the checkered flag, and Ron Eaton has won this thing.
Man, and here's the battle for what? Third, second?
Second place. Avance in 81, Hooper in 07. Avance is going to get second. Man. Hooper finishes third. Fourth is going to be Germoni. And 5th, I believe, is going to go to Ron Hornaday.
Avance don't know the thing's over yet. Hey, Roger, slow down, baby, it's over. And there's our winner.
Well, the 95 Repco Northwest Tour champion, who won 5 of 17 races last year, has come to the Southwest Tour and won. He's taken his first Southwest Tour victory. He finished 6th in the race that we had here on December 10th, the non-points paying race. He led 3 times today for a total of 66 laps. RPM tonight is going to be on as soon as we conclude the festivities here, and we are going to stick around for more interviews that we will have in RPM tonight in the next half hour.
We're going to have to talk for 5 minutes because Bill Weber, I see him running across the infield. He won't be able to say a word when he gets there.
Even when he gets there, he's not going to be able to say a word because he'll be out of breath.
Run.
Wow, that was a great, great race. Littered by wrecks at the beginning, but a great finish. Here's Bill.
Okay.
See, I told you.
Well, we're here with Ron Eaton. Ron, congratulations. A great run for you. You won the pole here. They put you back to 8th. Didn't slow you down.
Not a bit. We were real happy with the car. And then about 2/3 through the first segment, we lost our front brakes. And we worked on it, got the front brakes back in. And I knew it was just a matter of time. And then finally, the 2 car, he just burned his tires off trying to stay ahead of me. And he couldn't. I think we lapped him in the end.
How about your car? Was your car okay at the end? Looked like a little smoke coming out the rear end there?
Well, they told me to slow down quite a bit, and the thing is I was slowing down. I think we got a little oil leak in the front. And if we keep the speed up, it wouldn't hit it. But the thing is, he told me just to take it easy. So the last lap, I just stayed right in the bottom because the 2 car almost got me again in the last lap.
A lot of traffic out there.
Yeah, it's a little different what I'm used to up Northwest. But the thing is, we need to win a race for the Northwest because the thing is they haven't done good down here. And the thing is, we came down here, we can run with them just like they can come up and run with us.
Well, how about it then? You won here, you go to Phoenix next, and then you said you were going home. Does this change your mind at all?
Oh, no, I'm going to be at Monroe the last week of the month of March. I'm going back home. I live here in the wintertime. I said I play golf and race cars, and I'm going to go back up about 4 days before the March opener in Monroe, and then we'll be running a series up there again.
Well, congratulations from all of us. Great run today. Congratulations,
Ron. Thanks
a
lot.
That's Ron Eaton. He's the winner of the season opener of the NASCAR Featherlite Southwest Tour.
He's from Tacoma, Washington, a man after Benny's heart. He plays golf and races. What else can you ask for?
Well, that's what a perfect laugh that man's got.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to throw to RPM tonight in a matter of seconds, and then we are going to come back here with more wrap-up and more interesting sidelights from this race that we have just concluded. But Kenny Mayne is standing by back in the RPM Tonight studios to bring you up to date on everything that's going on in the world of motorsports. Here are the top 5 finishers in our race here today at Tucson Raceway Park. Here's RPM Tonight, but stay with us. We'll be back in the next half hour.